We're live!
We did it!
It's another edition of Adobe Live Education Edition. We are here in studio. We are so excited. My name is Jesse Lubinsky, Principal Evangelist with the Student Products Group Community Team, and I am joined by some very special guests. First, you may know her already, but just not in studio. This is her first appearance in the studio. It's my partner in creativity, the incomparable Wezi Tindwa.
I love it, Jesse Lubinsky introduction, everybody. So excited to get to join you all. So excited to be here in the studio. This is one of my favorite episodes ever because not only are we in studio, but we are also in studio building today together. And I know that we'll introduce our special guests in just a moment. And so what is great about this is that we are helping to just talk about the stories that you can tell from literally your back pocket with the tool that you have in your back pocket, and how we can do that in a way that makes us really feel like we're telling the genuine and capturing the authentic experiences that we have every day. So, Wezi Tindwa, Education Evangelist, Partner in Creativity with Jesse Lubinsky, joining you originally based in New York City, and so glad to be in studio.
You can tell by the accent. She has the Brooklyn
have a
accent.
very deep
That's right.
Brooklyn.
Do you want to introduce our special guest today?
Oh, sure. So our special guest today is one of our Adobe student ambassadors. This is Marina, everybody. Yay, Marina. I'm going to allow Marina to talk about herself, but we are so excited to get to have you in studio, your expertise, your boots on the ground work as a student. Tell us a little bit about what you do, where you're based, and what lights you up about the tools that you're using right now?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Marina. I'm a summer 2026 intern at Adobe, and I'm so excited to share with you my experience using Adobe Premiere to create videos based on my travels. I'm a college student. I'm a rising senior at Minerva University based in San Francisco. So if anybody knows about Minerva, we are a school that we have a different study abroad program where we get to live in a different city almost every semester. So in this case, I wanted to showcase a few of my travels in one of my semesters in college that was very special to me. I got to see a new city. It was my first time traveling this far from home. And so I'll be excited to join you in the live stream and share more about my experience.
So it's perfect having you here for this episode because since we're talking about travel videos and like how do we kind of become content creators with or make those best versions of our travel videos, it seems like you have the experience to be able to do that.
Yes, I would definitely say that, like, as much as I love filming landscapes whenever I travel, and so I love to keep a record for myself that I can show later to my family and friends. And I love to make it more aesthetic and have it to be more told as a story that I would like to have it something to share later with others. So I really enjoy just having it all together, especially if I can put music in or in being able to join all of it together, not just with pictures, but also with moving videos if you have live photos as well. So that was very useful in telling the story all together of seasons, of the landscapes, and of different things you can see in a city.
So just to give you a quick run of show, what we're going to do right now is we have one of Marina's amazing travel documentaries. We're going to kick the episode off with that. And then after we show that, Marina will give us some kind of pointers, tips, and tricks, and then Wezi and I will go and dive into both Lightroom and Premiere Pro for your phone to show you how you can also create like Marina. So with that, we're gonna jump and we're gonna play her Snapshots of Soul.
Check this out.
So one thing I couldn't help but notice is the chat blowing up with like
Yeah.
loves and.
We see you.
By the way, thank you everyone for all the chat's blowing up. Please let us know where you're coming in from. We are so excited to have you here with us today. I just want to warn everyone though, what Wesley and I are going to create is not going to be that good.
We can't.
We cannot possibly keep up with Marina in that regard.
But Marina, you're getting a lot of love in that chat, and
thank you so much.
thank you all for just engaging with us in the chat as well.
So, what are some basic pointers and tips you can get before we get into the editing component of creating this content? Obviously, if you don't have good videos and photos and things like that, you're really not going to be able to make something good at the end. So what are some tips for capturing content while traveling that you think you could give the audience?
I would say especially look for moments where you could get either this moment where you can capture either a moment in nature or a moment in a landscape that I personally really enjoy taking pictures where light plays a big effect into it. So whenever there was a foggy or day that looked a little more gloomier and I could get like more this winter perspective when I was in a cafe, I really like to just highlight those aspects within a picture. Or when there was a sunset, I always like to take pictures in the sunset. I think I saw beautiful sunsets in Seoul where you really could see a watercolor sky on the background. So really taking into account not only these bigger landscape moments as well, but also smaller. Whenever you see something that you find interesting in a city, whether it's something different from what you were used to, I think it's really worth it to just capture it and create a story about it because it's a part of your memory as well of when you were there.
And by the way, you're getting a lot of love from Claudio Zavala Jr., the legend himself. And you know when he's complimenting your visual storytelling that you must be doing something right. So, Wezi, for the first thing that I think we wanted to do was we were going to talk about how we can take some of those like raw images and maybe kind of enhance them or tweak them. Where I know a lot of people like the natural look.
We do.
Which is fine if you want to go with what you have. But if you did want to enhance or edit.
Well, I think Marina said something really important here about how and the perspective to take when capturing these moments. You were saying about if it's interesting to you and you want to tell a story about it, because I think sometimes we can be our own blockers when we are taking pictures or when we're in a place and we might think this is really interesting to me and that's it. And you might not feel like that's something that you can convey, but you can. And you can actually have a moment and use the tools to be able to tell the story as the next part. So it's just like, okay, this is something interesting to me. I'm going to take the picture, but know that you actually have the tools to be able to then tell the story of why it was interesting to you and to be able to convey that meaning as well. And what I love about this is because you and I are slightly different here. Marina is obviously a very good photojournalist in the moment, taking a mobile documentary, which is what we're kind of going to be going for today. Me, on the other hand, I get so consumed in the moment. I get so consumed in the moment that sometimes I'm just like, I leave and I'm just like, oh, I didn't take a picture of that. I was here, but I didn't take a picture of it at the time when the sunset was coming in and how it looks so golden here. But you can actually still convey that with the tools that we're going to use.
So while you're getting set up with your device, question from the chat, does it matter which ratio, whether to use landscape or portrait?
Yes, so it does matter for the means you're going to be sharing your storytelling to. If you're sharing it as a video, let's say on Instagram, which is most of the time what I would use with my friends and family, I would recommend using a portrait instead of using a landscape format. It is easier in that way, but if you are sending in a video that you're going to be sharing in a different platform, then it is more recommended to go for landscape.
But spoiler alert, we're going to show you later, just in case you filmed using the wrong perspective, we'll still show you how you can actually fix that in Premiere Pro for your mobile device.
And there's a comment that I want to call out from our dear friend and colleague, Ann Cosma723 in the chat. She said, love how much visual storytelling is conveyed through this. You bring us there with you. And that is actually something, I said almost exactly that, Ann, when I first saw Marina's video. I said, I feel like I'm there with you. And so like that, I feel like is a sign that you did it, that you actually did capture the moments that you're trying to do.
Have you been to Seoul?
I have not been to Seoul, but I have been through Marina now.
Oh, all right. Wow. Look at that.
Checking it off my list. I didn't get a magnet, but
Doesn't count unless you got a magnet.
But before we open our apps, let's talk about why this matters. Because I think there was a time in the early onset of having the mobile versions of our tools where it was just like, okay, this is almost like recourse, or it's a budget compromise, or, but it's actually, these are legitimate powerhouse creativity, content making tools and skills. And so it's one that schools and universities are opting for and taking very seriously. How do you find, Marina, that when you're on your mobile, how it's supporting you as a content creator?
When you're mobile, I think it gives you a more portable experience and a more accessible experience if you don't have access to, let's say, a bigger, heavier camera that could deliver you quality, but instead you can just have something that in the snap of that moment that you would like to capture, you already have something on your pocket that's accessible. Yeah. And in terms of what you were doing in school about it, I would say highlight some of the aspects of, if you're having a creative class, in a communications class, it is really important that you conveying your message through the medium that, let's say, what your audience is going to use. So really consider, if your audience is of students, what is the first medium that they're going to be accessing it? And so if you're thinking about the phone perspective, that's going to be really important.
Love that.
I love that, and I think you have some fans in the chat also.
Oh, Levay family from Brazil checking in. Fantastic. Digital share makes the experience as a viewer so rich, and you spoke to that being audience-minded as well, understanding where are the access points.
Yes.
And how can we build from that? And so the tool that makes this so possible got significantly better, something that our industry professionals, filmmakers, YouTubers are using, is Premiere Pro, brought to you on the iPhone now. So before we get into the Premiere Pro, we also want to show you how you can level up the imagery in an equally powerhouse tool, which is Lightroom.
Adobe Lightroom.
Adobe Lightroom.
I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to get into Adobe Lightroom and just showing you a couple of tips and hopefully what feels like good tricks in Lightroom. But I want to level set and frame this for you as somebody who I'm not a photographer, I'm not a professional photographer, and as I was saying, that sometimes I will come back from a trip. I just came back from a beautiful place last week, and I thought, I wish I had more scenery pictures, or I caught this one beach scene, but not at the time that I wanted it. So I want to be able to convey the moments that I had that maybe I didn't quite capture in the moment, or I just didn't take great pictures. Like maybe the angle was off, or maybe something wasn't the way that I wanted it to be, or I did take a great picture, and I want to see how I can use these tools to help tell the story of the moment. So let's get into Lightroom. So I am in my Lightroom app here, and I'm just going to play around with some images that we already have here. I'm going to select this first one as I was speaking to you all about a beach scene. So from your library, you can just pull in and import the images that you want to edit. So we've got this beautiful scene here. It's of the beach, already thinking about the mood and the tone of what it is that you are capturing. And you know that in an image like this, the color is telling the story. The color is also setting a tone. The color is helping to convey the moment. And so what I'm going to show you first is color grading within Lightroom. And let me tell you, color grading isn't just about making, a picture look prettier, but really color grading allows you to, when you have multiple pictures from a moment, like in your video where you had multiple pictures in a specific place, it's also helping them show some continuity. You can use those presets across your visuals and reinforce the same emotion across your visuals, so it doesn't look so disjointed when you're putting together a collection or when you're putting together a video. So what I'm going to click on from here, actually before I go into color grading, I want to just show you real quick this crop button. This is something handy for somebody like me, and Claudio knows this, is that sometimes I'll take a picture and he'll just like tilt it.
You got a little.
You gotta tilt it. And sometimes I'm not quite.
And
at
I'm glad
that
you brought up the
angle.
tilting, because
Yep.
I think a lot of people think cropping is just kind of the squeeze or tighten, but it's not just the squeeze or tighten. It's also adjusting, and you can see down at
also
the bottom, right, that
adjusting.
ability to
Yep.
change the.
There we go. So it's
Claudio's very impressed with you, by the way, in the chat.
Thanks, Claudio. Claudio's seal of approval, everybody. So once I get into my picture, that might be the first tab that I click on is the crop, depending on how I took the image. I just want to make sure that it has the angles that I need it to have. Okay, so because that picture was pretty okay before, I'm just gonna hit that, what I call my besties, the undo and redo buttons. On the upper right side, I hit undo, but I wanted to just show you all that crop feature, because sometimes that is the first thing that you might see in an image, is that the angle just needs to be adjusted a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna click out of that. Now I'm gonna select color. And this is what I love about this color feature. And those of you who are in here a lot know that this can be a whole workshop on its own, just
Right.
in the color palette, just in color grading. And so what Lightroom allows you to do is to adjust the colors of different aspects of your image individually. So without having, like a general filter might just change the whole picture, but you can actually go in here and change different aspects of the image. So what I'm going to click on first is this color grading button, and I'm going to show you from color grading what you can do is you can adjust the tones of different aspects of the image. And so it starts off with the shadows, so you can take a look at the shadows in your image and what kind of tone do you want to switch the shadows to. I'm somebody who doesn't, as I said, I'm not a professional photographer, so I don't share the precision in the eye. So I kind of go to extremes first. So
But
that
I feel like
can see the
eyeballing
difference.
it is this makes it really easy to be able to kind of just like watch the image as you're moving around to try
Yep.
to get the right look feel. Is that how you kind of
Yes.
vibe your way through it?
That was exactly what I experienced working with Lightroom to edit a picture. I was going through the extremes and seeing the smaller the differences and looking. I think this is highlighting a better aspect of the picture than compared to the other color, and that's what I'm going for.
Absolutely, and also, okay, so Marina, when you were in Seoul, give me like 2 to 3 words that you would use to describe the ambiance of Seoul when you were there.
Oh, okay, that's a good question. I would say definitely vibrant.
Vibrant, okay.
Vibrant. Glow from the buildings, the lighting, and also all the different aspects of museums. There's so much art that's embedded in the city, not just like in the museums, but also in the architecture of the city itself. So I would definitely say complement that with art and artistic.
And
yeah.
bibimbap.
And bibimbap, the
Yeah.
food.
And bibimbap, but
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yes, great
Of
food.
What I
course.
think of.
Of course. So, okay, so vibrant. I love how you're describing this, because asking yourself that question can also guide your editing choices, right? Or will guide your editing choices. So here we've got the shadows, but if I scooch over, I can take a look at my midtones as well in the image. What am I going for? So this is a beach scene, right? And so what I do love about the beach scene is that it's warm. So maybe I might be going to some warmer colors here. Instead of the cooler palettes, but also the cooler palettes bring out the blues. Maybe that's what I really want to convey, is the ocean, is the feel of the ocean. So I'm going to actually just let it sit right there. And then you've also got highlights, and so you can change your colors here. Now, some of you really love, I know, you really love changing the dynamics on the scales. So there's a little arrow on the lower right side. And if I click on that arrow and I scroll down, here's where I can really start to dig in a little deeper with the hue, the saturation, and the luminance. So with the hues, just speaking to the composition of the colors, the saturation, the value, the depth, and then the luminance, the brightness, the light in each, and I can really start to adapt the images.
And I'll add, Anne said something in the chat about using presets. if even this, like the color wheel, is intimidating, there are plenty of presets available that can kind of descriptors that allow you to choose some of those pre-selected options for these settings.
Absolutely, and that is actually something that I tend to come to in our tools is I will look for the auto. So on the lower left side here, I'm just gonna see, and I can click and hold too for a before and after. You see how my image is slightly changing? So when I click and hold on the image, I can just see what is happening and what difference is it making. But I can also just select auto and see, well, what is the tool suggesting that I do? So right now I clicked the analyzing button, and it's going to take a look at the image, and it's going to make some suggestions for me. I can enhance it if I want and analyze the scene. So these are some efficient ways that I can enhance it without going into it. It looks great. And then I can also, maybe just focus on the subject. So if I really want those trees to come out and the mountains, I can increase my subject a little bit. As we said, I'm a little extreme, right? I went all the way to like plus 71 immediately. And you see how it analyzed my scene, and it just pulled out all of the different aspects of my scene to change the color. How cool is that? I love to get the essence of the ocean when in a beach scene. So I'm gonna scroll down to water. And, if I go into negative, again, it goes more into those warm tones, or I can just make it that much more vibrant. Now, right now, it's starting to look really done up, right? Like there's a lot of enhancement here. But let's say I kind of like this. Maybe I am going for travel documentary vibrance in my image, and I want to save these presets that I've just adapted, and I want to apply the same ones to a different picture. So I can click this tick on the lower right side, and from here, I'm going to select the 3 dots on the upper right, and I'm just going to hit copy settings. And it's going to show me all of the ways that my my settings have been shifted, and I can copy those settings, and then I can pull from to a different image and paste
and just apply
paste settings.
Wow.
And now I have some transfer and uniformity across the pictures from a particular moment or from a particular vacation or trip. And then I have some continuity with that. So, so what I really want to get back to is, as Marina, as you were describing your trip to Seoul and you were pulling out those words, you also mentioned the landscape.
Yes.
And something about the landscape when you're editing here is if I scroll over into some of my details or some of my optics here, I can actually, there are options within here that allow me to really pull out the geometric shapes and work just with the shapes of an area. So again, going back to that point about what Lightroom allows you to do is to edit individual aspects of the image differently without having to apply the same preset to everything all at once. There is a lot of detail in here that you can really get into. So when I click on crop and I select geometry, I can also level and change my image if I just want to make sure that those shapes are really prevalent in my image as well. Okay, so Marina, of the features that you're seeing in Lightroom that you experience when you are traveling, what are some of the aspects that you feel like are going to be more of a go-to for you?
Yeah, so you were actually mentioning something that was very useful when I was editing photos, was selecting specific masks for different aspects of the picture. So something that is actually can be a bit tedious when you're working with photos is that you would need to individually select these elements and edit them one by one, but actually with the feature in Lightroom that allows you to automatically choose which objects are going to be selected. You actually have a selection of all the different objects that are identified on the screen. You can do this process much faster, much more efficiently, and focus on the details that actually matter.
And so most people don't have that type of experience using masks and things like that. So this easily lets you kind of separate out those layers and then be able to kind of pinpoint and choose what are the aspects that you want to either accentuate or decentuate in your image.
So Marina, I mean, check this out. This is what you're speaking to here. So I've actually selected masking. in here. And on the right side, you can see in this drop-down tab how it has the icons of the different parts of my image that I can edit. So let's say I just, what do I want to add from to water? What do I want to subtract to water? So I can really go into depth with the various aspects of my image in here. So again, just to show you how to get there, I hit the edit button and I select right next to the edit button, that little circle, and that allows me to mask and go into the different parts of my image to do just that. All right.
Love it.
Yeah. So this is oftentimes the start of your documentary or filmmaking or video development
Cleaning
that you're doing,
up
is
assets.
clearing and cleaning up the assets and the photos. So just know, whether you see yourself as a Lightroom Pro or a Lightroom Lite person, that you can go in here and work really quickly, but you can also go into as much depth as you need, which is amazing power to have at your fingertips to make your stories come to life. So now we're going to shift and level, piece these together in a different way. Jesse, so take us to our next place. Well, you can't do that until
I need the cable.
you need the
but
cable.
That's
You
helpful.
need the cable.
It's your first time in studio. It's okay. Before we jump to the Premiere Pro, if you're watching, like and subscribe. The button's right there. Jacob knows, our producer. Like I'm pointing. Yep. Oh wait, right here. Like and subscribe to the channel. Come back for amazing content. In fact, we'll be back with another episode right after this one. So don't go away. We'll give you that link shortly. Claudia's going to drop that one in the chat. Right. Double the fun.
Double the fun.
Okay. So we are now going to take all of our assets that we've cleared up in Lightroom or what we've created initially, and we're going to go into Premiere Pro, which is available for our phone. And what's nice is you can see there's a lot you can do up here, and you'll be able to see where I'm touching on my screen with the little blue icon. So bunch of new options here. You can create from a photo library. We take photos like what Wesley developed. We can create for YouTube Shorts, bunch of different options here. But what I'm going to do is, for the purpose of creating a travel video, I want to take a look at these templates that we have here. So you see how under travel it says edit travel videos that capture your vibe. Let's take a look at some of the options that we have here.
Something that I would highlight from the experience using templates is that it was very useful to just have the scrolling experience of just being able to go through the different
and see the different templates that are here
from the inside. Yes.
So I think I'm gonna go with, let's take a look. Here we go. So let's start with this template. Now, when I click use this template, it's gonna download to my phone, and notice it's gonna actually ask me where do I want to, or where do I wanna grab videos from, and I'll actually pull some content I already have here. We'll do 1, 2. And notice down at the bottom, it's showing me how many different slots are there for photos based on this template. So I've clicked the first 2. As I click, notice how it's filling those up.
Oh, I love this.
So I'm just basically going through, adding all these videos there. And now when I click next, it's downloading those files. And so you're seeing the initial, without any edits, here's the template applied to those set of videos. So even if I did nothing else at all, I could still have a really cool video that was made using a template right here within the product. And I should have mentioned this when I was showing the top of the options. This is free. It's our favorite price.
Free.
What's our favorite price?
$3.99.
Free $99. Free. Okay. So we picked our template. One other thing I wanted to show you is, so now that I have it here, you know what? There's more that I'm going to want to do with this. So I'm going to click Full Editor to open up the Full Editor. And the first thing you're going to notice is you're going to see that I have my video up at the top. If I click right here on the left-hand side of the screen, that's actually going to let me drag this out a little bit more so I can see all of my different tracks. And so what I want to start off by doing is noticing that first frame. I love this video, the sunset. You mentioned sunsets in Seoul. But what what happened with that video? How did I film that?
A landscape.
Well, technically I didn't film it at all. Claudio gave it to me. So it was filmed in landscape. So what I'm gonna do is, because I do want it to take up that whole image, I'm gonna actually click on the video itself. And hold on 1 second. When I click on that video, notice how I can actually scroll through my settings here and see how there's an auto reframe. If I click that auto reframe, that's how we can actually fix when we have those landscape videos that we want to change and actually have them take up the full image. We can do that there too. So, sorry, just saw Claudia. I know, I saw Claudia's comment in the chat that made me laugh. So, the next thing I want to do is, now, before we started recording, I had asked Marina, I said, Marina, did you use templates to do your video? And she was like, well, I would do that, but then I like changing everything.
Yeah.
So the problem is, even though I love this, it's going with those presets that are there. So notice how all these videos are very short. So what I want to do is I want to actually expand all these out. Let's say we make them like 5 seconds each. So each time I click on a video, see how as I'm clicking on them, it's allowing me to expand each of these out. So just have to get each.
I actually use this quite a bit because I was telling Jesse that I love being able to use a template and plug and play, right?
Yes.
Makes it super easy. But I start to get very precise and finicky about aligning. I want more pictures here. I want another picture here. And then it stops aligning to the music. So sometimes your music choice, like for this one's laid back, so you can have something that doesn't like require a beat and a rhythm to each, which can be a little easier with, or instead of easier, I should say, which can just give you a different type of editing experience. But something that you can also do is zoom in and out of your tracks when you are changing the length of your videos, just to help you, especially if they become like really small and tight and you're trying to expand them. So you can zoom in and out of the whole track as well. And
you might have noticed, Wesley, I was doing that. You could see on the screen that when I'm clicking a single click, it's showing up as the one dot. But for me, zooming in and out, notice how the pinch is actually showing up right there.
Pinch helps.
So I could actually do, and then pinch that in, bring it out to 5 seconds. So I'm just going through, I'm bringing this out to make the video longer, because again, if I use that default, it's not gonna be that long. And I don't have to make them all 5 seconds. I could just, some of them can be shorter than others. It's really up to, again, your taste in terms of what you wanna show. Now, all the clips that I'm using here are a little longer in length, so I actually have the space to be able to make those longer. And I'll just pick some.
This was a beautiful trip that you took and were able to capture via film, Jesse.
Is it that really nice?
Part,
you like this?
Yeah. Look at that.
Actually, fun fact. This is a fun fact.
He was flying like
Claudio made this using Firefly to make videos from stills.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that?
Wow.
It's very cool.
Isn't that a fun fact?
That is a
it's
fun
pretty
fact.
Good. It's pretty good.
That's a good fun fact.
It's relatively fun.
That is actually a true fun fact, other than what I just shared that Jesse was flying while filming. So.
Oh, thank you. So this last one, I'm just going to bring this out to a minute. I just want to have 1 minute total. So this one's a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm at 1 minute for the full video, so everything's there. The first thing I want to do is, if I go back to the beginning, I'm just gonna hit play. And I'm not gonna lie, I love the lo-fi music here, but one thing I could do is I could definitely make this louder. Yeah, to bring it more to the forefront. And actually, I just noticed I caught one thing here. Again, same thing with this video that we saw before. I'm gonna wanna auto reframe that one. Again, super simple, brings the video back out to the front. What's nice is, right, you can, now that we've done that, so far, what do we have here? We have our title slide, and actually let's change that. So this is a fishing travel video. Now, one thing you'll notice is there's two separate, right, I have two separate little text boxes here. And you'll notice that the reason they're on the timeline is they're timed out to 2 seconds and then they'll disappear. So I'm quickly gonna change this. And notice when I click on it, it just makes it, we'll just call this fishing. And for the second one,
Something that is very useful about having these two blocks separately is that if it doesn't just give you a chance to go and click on a specific thing on the screen that you might not be able to click with your finger because it might be too small, so you were able to select it on the rail as well, which makes it much easier.
Yeah, those options for where to select and how to edit. So something that we talk about in other Adobe tools as well, and join us in our next session because we'll also go into Express, is just the automatic breakdown of your features on the page into individual objects, which is what you're speaking to, and being able to edit them so that they each have a degree of autonomy when you're changing with the timing, when they appear on screen, the font, the placement, and that's really great flexibility to have.
So one thing you might have noticed is as I was modifying these, that you can actually use the box here to actually resize, move them around, change the angle on them. So I'm just gonna leave that there for now.
That looks great.
And, oh, thank you, Leslie. We'll just see what we have so far. Okay.
Cool.
Now, I notice my thumbprint must be permanently absorbed there, but we'll leave that there. Next thing I want to do is I want to do a voiceover. So I have this video, but I want to have this narrative. And this one I am going to give credit to Claudio because I did not come up with this script. So if you're like, where did he come up with that? This is a Claudio special.
Lots of Claudio shout-outs today, and I do just want to call out in the chat, Teresa, this app is amazing, and I see that Claudio has also asked what's your favorite feature in the app. Let us know, folks, in the chat, what are your favorite features? Even if you haven't used it before, what are you seeing that you feel like you're kind of drawn to? And we'd love to call that out. I cannot wait for Jesse's little script.
Okay, so I'm here on the main screen. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to music and audio, and notice there's a voiceover here. So I am going to do a little voiceover here. Most places have a version of themselves they show to visitors. This is not that version. This is 5 in the morning, before the coffee shops open, before the sunscreen, before the photographs. This is the version that has existed here for a very long time. The boats go out before the sun is fully up. They have always gone out before the sun is fully up. The men who worked them learned from men who learned from men, a chain of knowledge that runs back further than anyone can say. You do not write this knowledge down. You carry it in your hands, in your body, in the language you use to talk about the sea. There's a word for the local language, for the specific color the water turns just before a storm. There's no translation. You either know it or you don't, and fewer people know it every year. And I'll just stop it there for now, just because Wesley's about to crack up. So
I was about to. That was a word. That sounded like poetry from Claudius Maximus.
Yes.
One thing I didn't do, you'll notice how my voiceover is stretching out 46 seconds.
Beautiful.
I want that music to be going the whole time as well. So I can click on the music, and because it's just an audio track, I could actually drag it back. And you know what? If I want to, I could actually shorten if I wanted the videos to match up with the length of what I was talking about. I can actually just shorten some things. Shorten the one at the end.
I actually thought your timing was pretty good with the imagery. What do you think, Marina? Because he was like, before the boats go up, the men of men.
I was trying to channel our good friend Claudio Zavala Jr., so let's see, we should be right around time.
I think it really matters to do when you're working with a voiceover. You really can bring the storytelling part to life, and when you combine that with a certain order of pictures like you're doing here, it really completely elevates the experience when you're doing, especially like a mini documentary.
And just to show you what I did a little bit, just to clean it up, I didn't start the voiceover right at the start. I moved it over, so like you could see if we go back to the beginning now. Most places have a version of themselves they show to visitors. This is not that version. Okay, so one thing I want to do, I just want to clean that beginning part up, cut out that first second, which I can do. And then the other thing that I have to do while I'm here, I have to enhance the audio.
Oh, you have
if I hit enhance audio,
You have to.
By the way, this
One
was
of the
voted
best
one of
features.
Time Magazine's 50 best inventions for 2025. I'm going to lower the background noise. I'm going to hit.
Studio quality in the studio.
We're gonna let it. We're
or
gonna
out
let
of
it
the
process.
studio.
And I know we're running a little bit behind today because we're here. I'm gonna talk about a couple things that we can do in addition to this, but we'll just let it process just so you can hear what that video sounds like. We've never seen anything like that ever happen
Errors
before.
don't happen. But Jeannie, I see you. Capturing moments is always wonderful. This app will help us to turn this more special. Absolutely. And Jesse, you're doing a great job of demonstrating that because I really love this video. And I think that the script too just flows really nicely, but also the ability to be more precise in the timing of the videos to continue to convey the story.
So
really powerful.
one additional thing, because some other things we did want to talk about. We did want to talk about transitions. I just wanted to show you that right here in between, I can do dissolves. But what I can do is I can apply dissolves to the whole thing. So now if I go back and hit play, most places have a version of themselves they show to visitors. This is not. So I just had that dissolve feature happen throughout the entire video, but you can get granular and do it at each individual one if you don't like a dissolve at the start, but maybe you like them beyond that. The only other thing I want to make sure I show you is that under titles and captions, I can add captions here and have them created. And so notice once I have those captions, I can actually change the style. I like the follow alongs.
Yeah.
You know, maybe keep it like that. That version. This is 5 in the morning, before the coffee shops open, before the sunscreen, before the photographs. And so one other thing I'll just share is if we were to move those captions up, it will take effect for all the captions throughout the. This is the version that has existed here for a very. So I don't have to go through each one and move the captions. It'll do it for the whole video.
That's great.
Last step, before we jump, we just want to make sure we export that video. And one thing people often ask is, how do we want to export? You typically want to do 4K because then when you import it into any other platform that you're going to be using it, you'll actually it might lower that resolution. So better to start off with 4K to begin with. Now, before we jump, we hope this was just a quick overview. There's a lot more we can show you. We did want to just share one piece of information on, if you're watching, how you could, how we came to work with Marina and how you can come do some amazing stuff with. So on my screen here, on my laptop, I have TAs for our Adobe communities. So we have our ACE Leader community. Yeah, it's you can scan a QR code, or it's adobe.ly/join ACE Leader. We also have our higher education faculty community. So if you are in either K-12 or that way, a higher education, you can sign up there. But if you are a student joining us of any type, you're a student, you want to join us, we have communities on our Discord, in Discord and GroupMe. You could join using the links right there. We always have a ton of amazing ways that we're engaging our community. You won't want to miss it. Yes, and as Anne said, learning with and from each other in our communities is the absolute best. And before we check out, I want to say two things. First, I wanted to thank Marina for joining us and sharing her amazing expertise and creativity. And second, like and subscribe. You have to like and subscribe. It was over here somewhere. There it is.
There it is.
Okay, make sure you like and subscribe. Please stay tuned. We have another amazing episode coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Wasn't she amazing?
Amazing.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
Marina,
much.
you got a lot of love in the chat too.
Yeah,
Thank you for
big
the
shout out
support.
to my family who's there enjoying
Aw.
this. Yes.
We must be so proud, as are we. Take care, everybody. See you on the next one.
Thank you.